Move them in, move them in, move them out, stick it up. Rawhide. Coming soon to a theater near you will be The Woo. Yeah, find yourself in the square and see it's true. Actual facts to snack on and chew. Our positive energy sounds peace to you. Yo, we're back. It's the Monday Memorial Day locker room. Post stampede, post double or nothing. Hope you bought insurance, doubled down and hit big and broke the house because it was a long night last night. Let's break it all down with MSG, Hacker Hamin here on your Monday Memorial Day locker room. YOLO. Yeah, man, we are back doing it big enough last night, I guess. Holy shit, there's a lot of lessons to be learned about booking a card in indie show style, that's for sure, man, and wearing out your audience. But we're back at it bright and early. Hopefully you guys are enjoying a good Memorial Day weekend. Weather's been kind of shitty here and there where I've been, but hopefully you're able to enjoy some time with friends and family with your mask off and break it down. But I'm glad to be breaking it down with my Light the Fuse partner here, filling in for RBV. It's the one and only MSG. Good morning, Maddie.
Yeah, this is a history in the making. You're hosting the scene. There's cleaning. I'm lighting up that green. Your boy, MSG. First time on the Monday morning locker room. It's a pleasure. It's an honor and a privilege. Big shoes for me to fill in for Rick Vick. I mean, quite literally big shoes. But big Rick Vick is out at the track today working, probably getting some of that extra cheese. Go check out his food blogs and all the stuff he does as it's Memorial Day. So unlike Rick, though, I don't have some sort of extravagant food Memorial Day historical analysis. So I apologize if you want that. I'm sure you can go find Rick on a social media site. I'm sure he'd love to have a conversation with you about food.
Dude, I was rocked. I mean, went up to my brother's compound, in Islamville, and it was great, dude. On Saturday, Friday was the shits. It rained all day, so that was a washout. Saturday was good, and got to see a lot of my posse members and crew. And dude, my one cousin's got this insane smoker that we were throwing down, and he did 4 racks of ribs, a pork butt. I did 2 London broils. He did a bacon wrapped loin, jalapeno bacon wrapped cheddar poppers, put the mac and cheese in there, chickens, like 40 chickens, like halves of one. Dude, it was just insane. And, drinking that 4 Roses whiskey all day, just having a good smoke and a good kickback. Did a little 4-wheeler riding. It was a good time, man, for sure, out in the woods on Saturday. Yesterday, we were right back at it, catching up just like we are today. So after, I don't know what it was, 42, 43 days off, it was nice to have a little bit of a break in between, man. Hopefully the rain breaks today. I might play 9 holes with referee sideburns. We'll see.
Jealous. We were hoping that the rain, we've been trying to book a round of golf for like the last 2 weeks, every Sunday or Monday, but the rain has just been, and the weather, it's horrible, or the wind. And at that point, like, we're not gonna waste money and just go out there just to hit the ball into the wind, right?
Right.
But you were talking about food. I'm not sure how much of a big Kevin Smith fan you follow and all of his stuff. But I mean, have you heard of his the fake restaurant in some of his movies called Movies?
Movies. I know it from Dogma for sure.
Right.
Yeah,
they've been doing these pop-up places. Well, they're now in Denver. They just popped up here, and I saw The Stranger went last year. So I just booked to go next week to Movies. You get it's $29, but you get everything included: your meal, food, and all that stuff. Little commemorative cup and whatnot, little box. So we're gonna go do that. And I ordered the this pork sandwich. So you were talking about pork. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not a big pulled pork fan, so we'll see what they can do.
Holy shit, the one my cousin made, and then put on some coleslaw on top of it. It was just the slam, man. But I'll tell you, one buddy, his mom made a big tin of macaroni and cheese, and then we put it in the smoker for 2 hours. Holy shit, dude. The difference, the taste is phenomenal. So if you got a smoker, I suggest trying some smoked macaroni and cheese. Your bathroom won't thank you for it the next day, but it's fucking great.
I think I'm going to be doing some barbecuing later today. I'm supposed to be heading over to my co-host's house, Joe's house, for a little Memorial Day barbecue soiree. So And it doesn't look like it's going to rain. It just looks like it's cloudy. So hopefully that'll hold up because he lives down by the lake. So it's a really nice area. I'm just like, man, I wish it would have been a perfect, nice sunny day. Everybody out there by the lake barbecuing, because he can walk to the lake. It's right there. So, man, I'm like, man, I wish.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I mean, I don't know if it's from the chemtrails and what they're doing.
Almost, right?
Dude, tomorrow's June and it's 50 degrees outside still, bro. It's just. They're doing something major. It's not, they'll blame it on global warming because that's their next tax for everything in the Green New Deal for the 30 years.
What guys that mean? They said that it would take I don't know, for every person, 17,000 people or die out of 30 million. I don't know what it was. The analysis that cures, saves so many plants, saves so many trees. Well, how many people did die last year through COVID? I think global warming's it's cured.
Yeah, it should be. We should be able to knock those numbers out. But no, they're just going to juke that as fear. But while they aerosol spray the sky to want to eventually block out the sun, and now you're like, why is it so cold? Oh, I wonder. It couldn't be that we have thousands upon thousands of particulates in our air now that we never voted on, that our own military is poisoning us in the sky. And it's 50 degrees in June, but it's probably because we have cars and cows farting. That's what we should be scared of. So we got to get rid of cows so you can eat all plant-based shit. I mean, all this is in their major plan, but now you're starting to see the fucking reap the rewards of it. Some really great times where it's terrible and gray in June, just what we look forward to.
Well, of course, guys, today is Memorial Day. So before we get into all the happy news and reviews that we've got to go through today, especially a 4-hour All Elite Wrestling pay-per-view, just wanted to send out a special thank you to everybody, all of our veterans who have served and fallen in serving this country and trying to make this a better place for the citizens, not at the behest of the powers that are behind them, but the citizen itself. And I try to share this every year on my social media. This is the first time I've actually been on air during Memorial Day. So I just wanted to share a quick story. One of my great grandfathers, Bill Schaefer, he was I don't want to say a World War II hero, but he had an impact in World War II itself. And I shared this on my social media. There is a theater, or there was at one point, and a statue that was erected of him in Guam due to his bravery and his fearlessness. And in the article, it described his final battle, if you will, that Schaefer took the light machine gun in his left arm. He securely loads a belt of ammunition with a sly grin on his face, squeezed the trigger, stood upright, and slowly moved forward. Japs were dropping in all directions, and as Schaefer moved forward, the entire company followed. An artillery piece unfortunately found the range to Schaefer, but still embracing his beloved machine gun, but not before killing dozens and clearing a path for his fucking company. Anyway, I just, my fucking great-great-grandfather is kind of a badass.
Some real Rambo shit right there, man. All the fucking
Japanese.
were shitting their pants that day. I'm here to tell you that, brother. So that's a hardcore Holly shit. Very,
I know. I'm like, my ultimate goal is at some point in life, I know the statue's not there, the theater's there. I'd like to at least go to Guam, the site. And you know how people tend to keep shit. I'm sure maybe somewhere in a basement, that statue might be somewhere.
That fucking machine gun might be somewhere.
Right? That'd be sick.
Yeah, man.
Happy Memorial Day, and thank you to those who served and fell for our freedom.
Yeah, man, for sure. Except for the guys who are chemtrailing the skies. You can go get fucked. Oh, yeah.
4 hours last night. AEW. Do you want to start there? Or do you want to start with the hot topics?
Whatever, man. I'm just trying to get my bearings about me. That's one thing about the Monday locker room. I kind of let Rick lead when he needs to when he's here on time. So, but yeah, dude, let's not short at 4.5 hours.
Oh, that's right, because there was a 30-minute pre-show as well, which
there
we had
an hour pre-show. There was like a pre-show, then the pre-show, and like the packages in the first 30 minutes to billboard the show and all the cinematic stuff they did for each feud was very, very well done. Like very well produced. I don't know if people tuned in from 7 to 7:30 to watch that or not. I had it kind of on the side computer while I was doing some other work, but each one of them was like 3 or 4 minutes and told a really great recap of the story with good voiceover. Some things make me laugh, and like guys are working out in slow motion and like using the fucking ab wheel forwards and back, but like they're lit in purple and red and like it's sexy lighting to do the ab wheel. I'm like, bro, is that how you have to do that every time? No. So, but it made for good TV. So
hey, you know Stevie Ray's got the red lights in his spa sauna thing. Maybe that's what it is. They're just working out in UV.
Yeah, But I just retweeted from his Twitter yesterday, man. He was at the Indy 500 looking like a boss down there in the pits, dude. And I know he's got his selfie stick and camera with him, so I'm excited to see all the behind the scenes footage that he had. What he posted last week with Stewart.
Stevie Ray.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's right in the pits with the biggest names in racing. So if you're a National Hot Rod Association fan, Indy 500, NASCAR, definitely want to subscribe to Stevie Ray TV because he's doing a lot with the racing and one-on-one. I'm sure he's booked more interviews just based off of Indy alone of having
Patreon.com, Stevie Ray TV. It's posted up there. I just posted yesterday's interview with Matt Smith, 4-time pro motorcycle stock champions up there right now. So
awesome. You know what? We should send that to Bill Burr because he's a huge motorcycle racing fan, dude. I think he would, and he likes wrestling, so I think that'd be an awesome. Maybe we can link that up too. But great stuff all the way around from all of our great clients that we're managing. It was a big week with the Friends reunion for Larry Hankins Patreon, and because that was huge on HBO Max, so we jumped on that. Guys did a great job last night with pumping all the brands from the new Beautiful People episode that just dropped. The A show, all that stuff was going out during the pay-per-view and that live conversation. So big shout out to all of HMG staff for really coming together, and everyone had their own little bit to do last night, and they all came through like aces, man. So I want to appreciate all of them.
So, of course, guys, you can check out Like the Fuse each and every Friday with myself, Ben Hamin, Chris Silvio for full in-depth recaps. But, we have to kind of talk about a couple things here. So let's get the positive to start off. Deeb and Rio to start off the pay-per-view. What'd you think?
Sure. Well, obviously, Serena is, I believe, could be the best wrestler on the planet right now.
Yep.
And not just man or woman, the best wrestler on the planet right now. Absolutely fundamentally incredible. Tells a great story. She was, really healing last night, really vicious, which I haven't gotten to see her do since she was in the Insurgency with me and the rest of the guys. But I love it. Rio, obviously, we've seen some of the worst in comical wrestling from her, and it kind of shone through last night that doesn't matter how big of a name you are in New Japan, or you wrestled Kenny when you were 9 or what have you. If you don't know the fundamentals of selling and like facials and where the camera is and how to get things over, Deeb was hitting her with dynamite stuff, and Rio barely would sell some things, like, just things that she had the opportunity to really get a lot more sympathy. Deeb was working her ass off extra last night to try and make that match as great as it was, which I feel, and I'm partial best match on the show. But there's such a big difference in when I watch an ultimate pro like Deeb and then somebody who's a lot of hype like Rio to me. Did she get her there? Yeah. But Rio can't even get into position for a abdominal stretch the right way, so Deeb has to switch on the fly and get her into something else. And it's just like, if you can't do that level of basics in our biz, then you're not elite. But it takes an elite performer to make somebody who wrestles about as good as a broomstick look incredible. So Deeb was great. She came out, did her pose, and then fired up the crowd, and that crowd was ready to go. So I was glad she was in that spot. Big Stooge off, and I didn't see him until about halfway through the show, and he started texting me where he was. I mean, I knew they were there, but 2CW office, Chris Lovins, Josh Jeanneret, and then DJ Blandino were down there. Third row. So yeah, they did. I mean, they did all the meet and greet stuff, and Bucks and Omega treat them like VIPs, so they posed down with the belt and all that kind of shit, man. But then once I saw him, I couldn't take my eyes off Josh, see if he would react to anything, and he's just classic Josh, just sitting there with his arms folded, not putting anybody over or anything over, just like it was his own show. But I'm sure a lot of guys were happy to see him to get set up for that 2CW reunion. But Serena is incredible worker, man. I mean, beyond everybody else on their roster. And I think Dustin, I heard now, is taking over the women's division. And there's nothing but good out of that. If Omega's got that much on his plate, you want Dustin Runnels right there to age and all that. And I can kind of see it and feel it. But where are they going to get other top girls to wrestle Serena to give you the matches that we really should be having at that level. They got Thunder Rosa. I'd like to see what she can do with Statlander. Britt Baker's there. And Sheeta isn't much better than Rio, in my opinion, bro, to be honest with you. There's just a lot of things that aren't sold the right way, that are out of position, that even though she looks cute and she did good promos and stuff, they're just not at the same level. But because they come from New Japan, everybody puts them up way up here. Okay. But any worker watching knows what the real deal is of the difference between a skill set on level 4 and level 10. So, but I was pumped to see her start the show off, and right away I was getting texts, bro, your girl is fucking incredible. I'm like, yeah, dude, I only been saying that for 4 years straight now. So, but shout out to her kicking it off in a big way, man. Makes me proud.
You know, from there we had 50 minutes filled with 2 matches as they opened up the pay-per-view. We had Brian Cage and Hangman Page, and we had the Bucks taking on Mox and Kingston. You know, that Bucks and Kingston match, while I'm not going to sit here and say it was a bad match, it was just long. It was 30. I mean, it wasn't 30 minutes, but it was 23 or 24 minutes, whatever the timing was. I mean, that's long for a match coming out.
Which one is this? I'm sorry.
The Bucks versus.
Oh, yeah, dude. This was the biggest problem on the show. And I popped huge. I popped huge for Nick's hair, right. Dyeing his hair. And Nick came out with a great attitude, man, like really coming through the camera. And I was like, damn, Nick is the one going to steal the spotlight tonight. Before the bell even rang, I was like, this motherfucker's ready to go.
He's been doing this bit on VTE. It's probably my favorite. It's called Trick Shots with Nick Jackson. And it's just him in his backyard with his kids. And he's just from the craziest angles, just making a shot and then just walking towards the camera. Like, yeah, that's right. So like, he's definitely been practicing, you know, that attitude. So, and you're right. It definitely came through the camera.
It was awesome last night. It popped me big. And this match was way overbooked. I liked Moxley and Kingston's entrance with the crowd hyped up, kicking shit over and whatnot. That had the crowd fired up. I had music up, so I didn't hear them sing along to Wild Thing or whatever. But they should have took it home about 8 minutes earlier than they did. You felt the crowd. They lost them at the end because of overbooking and I don't even know, working a triple heat and working the first heat on the wrong guy. They could have worked a double heat and then had Kingston down and had Mox for the comeback and taking it home there on a slip. But I was like, this is going to be a problem for the rest of the show because you've just given them everything and you've worn out your audience. And when they weren't with it, even in the last 5 minutes of this match, because they were with it up until about the last 5 to 10 minutes, you can feel where the high point is in a scene when you got to edit. You can feel it in a match. Even if you want to do a dip, sometimes that's all right, but that means you got to take them higher to do it again. These types of overbooked finishes are just egregious. And this match wouldn't have been nearly, I wouldn't be nearly as critical of it if it wasn't on after it, where it was in the card.
Right.
If they would have switched Murder Hawk and Miro with this match, this whole show would have flowed better. But because of where this, you know, superstar match is, Bucks and right. Mox and Kingston, and how long they went, they took everything out of that crowd already instead of build to it. And then have that match where they're, you know, into it because other people's pops suffered from how long this went on and they gave them everything. So what else is there to do after you've seen color? Did Serena and Rio go out of the ring?
No.
Not once. Opening card, you know, and straight wrestling. But here we was this first or was Hangman first? Hangman first.
That's what I was saying. The first 50 minutes were filled with Hangman Page, which was like a 12 to 15 minute match versus Brian Cage, and then we had this, which is like a 24 minute match.
And Hangman did the moonsault on the outside, which is beautiful, and they went outside. That's his thing. I get that. I didn't have a problem with him being on the outside. They fought for just a minute, and that didn't do a ton of outside spots, but they could have done even less, just that moonsault. And then Hangman over on Cage. That was good. Crowd was up for it. Both Cage and Page looked like stars in that. I thought they were really good. That's the match I probably would have kicked off the show with. Then I wouldn't have come back with the Bucks. That was tough right there. But the Bucks as EVPs might have a lot to do behind the scenes the rest of the show, so they go on early. But doing that and sacrificing, this is where Man Beast goes, you can't be on the card and be management at the same time. Here's the perfect example of it, because that match had to go early because of maybe management duties, and that hurt the rest of the card because of that. If they didn't have management duties, then we could put that wherever, you know what I mean, where it would have shined a little bit brighter. So these are just the things of learning as you go, and, you know, no heat on the Bucks or anything like that, or Mox and them. Not that Mox is EVP, but they were never bookers. They never ran shows. They're still learning what does and doesn't work. And when you got a 4.5 hour show, believe me, bro, that's Indie 101. And like the crowd was dead by the time, like once Omega and them got done with it, I was like, all right, I'm ready for bed. I forgot that Stadium Stampede was even a thing.
Right. It was at the end. Yeah.
Right. So that's how burnt out you are by like 3.5 hours in. So these first two matches were great. The Bucks and Mox was overbooked. They lost them. Like they lost the big pop at the end, but these guys are awesome, man. You know, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah. As I was sitting there watching it live, because I was like you, I had the commentary turned down. I was watching Cali Roots is doing some live streaming, and I just happened to turn on. Steel Pulse was playing. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm not turning this shit off. So like I was bumping that. But 50 minutes, 2 matches, and I went, holy shit, this thing's going to go 4 hours, not including that pre-show. I was like, holy shit, this thing's going to go 4 hours from, you know, my time, which was 6 Mountain Time, and it ended at 10. I was like, God damn, we're going to be in for a long night. And we were, so we're not going to go through everything, but a couple more things. I mean, we can note here, obviously, you know, the Young Bucks retained. You know, we had Miro take on, you mentioned there, Lance Archer for the TNT Championship. 2 big guys.
Archer was fucking throwing his shit, man. He was fucking getting it in the beginning. I liked it.
Yeah, it's pretty. They were going, you know, back at it, back and forth. 2 big hosses. I think the ending, of course, we talked about this on Like the Fuse, that one of the biggest complaints you had in regards to not just the usage on how Miro locks in the clutch, but the pulling back on it. So they tried the aerial angle this time, and you know, I'm going to give them credit that they probably practiced. I mean, if you're a production guy, you go through all your camera shots and stuff like that. Sure. So whether they did this during the day or when maybe there was some more light, or whether they did it, you know, they didn't maybe have the specific light. They had the light shining on the ring when everything was turned on during rehearsals or before the, you know, the crowds came in. And then as soon as everybody started, the lights started to dim a little bit. So because of that, that aerial shot, it's very blurry. And as we had, you know, I was saying in production, you know, the more gain, the more grain. So there wasn't a lot of gain in this. It was very dark and muddled. And because of that, the over-the-head shot did not work. The aerial shot did not work at this. And I think about stuff like WWE, where WWE is very very brightly lit, no matter what, unless it's like a Bray Wyatt match or a specific themed match. So right. In WWE, they can utilize all that because they're getting the same lighting effects from every angle. But you were right, Ben. It did not look good from the angle as well.
It's just, it goes against wrestling, bro.
Right.
What you want to show the crowd your facial. You want to see the other guy suffering. When you pull back and you're both looking up at the lights, the crowd cannot see you. They cannot see that. And the cameras, even if they have it set up, is not going to capture it the right way. And the crowd is used to a camel clutch. This looks like you fucked up the camel clutch and you fell backwards and you're trying to correct. It doesn't look like the Kanda Hajime or anything like that. You know what I mean? Where you can get the guy on the side and show like how Killer Cross choked out, who did he have on the last NXT fucking Baylor? You know, like it just doesn't work the same. And this guy's looks like, dude, there's so much money written on Rusev, man. Like he just comes out and you're like, holy shit. And Murder Hawk was doing fucking Undertaker walks and the moonsaults on the top rope and shit, backflips. And I was like, wow, that's impressive from a guy that size. But this match to me could have been 3 minutes where Murder Hawk gets hit out of nowhere. Murder Hawk could have been on him, boom, kicking the shit out of Miro, gone and done that flip thing, move on it. Miro hits the rope, spears the fuck out of him, and then turns him over and clutches him right there. If he would have beat him in 3 minutes, nobody's going to go, Murder Hawk sucks. They would just say he tried some high-risk shit, he got fucking his ticket punched, and he got choked out. And then you can come back and revisit it with him being like, that's bullshit, you know, this, that, or the other, and get a rematch out of it. Instead, everybody's got a pull time. I got to get my shit in. I don't like Miro kept grabbing his like hair extensions out of his mohawk, like wrapping it around his hand, and then he'd hit him, and then he'd have to pull his hand out of it. Then he'd grab his hair. I'm like, dude, that's some like third grade girly shit. Like,
did you find the end a little clunky when Miro was trying to put the clutch on him? It almost felt like Lance Archer was like, I don't want to fucking do this. Like, that's how it kind of came off.
Maybe he might have been blown though, because Lance Archer went in pretty hard in the beginning, and once you do that, it's tough to get your win back to get things clean. That was a big problem with the Bucks match too. With overbooking it, you could start to see air and things and missed timing in the last 4 or 5 minutes when they don't have them anymore, and that's when you really don't want air in your shit. These are like, they went too long. Like even the crowd feels like, they went too long. I would have liked to seen a gear shift here with Miro going over fast after big man misses something and kind of takes himself out, and Miro capitalizes right away instead of let's get more shit in. And the stuff with the hair, like it's I don't know. It's like, yeah, he's there on the cell and you want to pull him up, just grab him by the head, pull him back, measure him, and then hit him. Wrap the hair around, hit him, let go of the hair, grab the hair, wrap it around, hit like that doesn't have rhythm to it, and it looks like a feminine fight. Like, you know, like girls always go for the hair and shit. So if you were doing something where you grabbed it, like my beard, and you had it wrapped and you were walking him around the ring while he's got to follow you, and you're like, that's a spot, and then fucking won. But he kept doing that shit. It was getting me heated.
So if we're talking, somebody who got some heat, let's talk about, we'll since we're just jumping around here, Don Callis got some heat last night during that triple threat AEW World Championship match, Ben, but as you pointed out, he was the only one that got the heat. And for those who didn't see the match, Don Callis played a pivotal role at the conclusion by interfering and causing Orange Cassidy to not pick up the pinfall. And then the crowd erupted, started, saying, F you, Don. They were chanting it. So he got some really good heat, but unfortunately, Orange Cassidy did not win. Kenny Omega retained. I think we kind of knew that was coming. But what do you think of the overall match? There was a lot of false finishes in this match. In fact, as I saw a lot of people point out online, there's a couple people even in the industry. It's like AEW stored up all the false finishes for a year and gave it to us all in one night. Yeah,
pretty much, man. And that's overbooking Bucks and Omega 101. Like that's how they got famous on the indies. And unfortunately, it doesn't play on TV, and they're going to learn the hard way of like, all right, we had them, we lost them if they watch their shit back, like, let's shave 5 minutes. And yeah, there was just way too many falsies, but this match wasn't bad by any means. This was pretty technically sound. They got all of Orange Cassidy's pocket stuff in, and it worked pretty well. Pac could have looked tougher, I think, and this is where they could have actually put the title on Pac and then put it back on Omega in 1 week's time with some heel shit if they wanted to make Pac and have that story go further. Orange Cassidy just kind of getting the shine as the big baby face here until he goes over with V-trigger, right? And it didn't. Even the Bucks finish where they're holding them and they're doing the double knees things.
They did 4 V-triggers or whatever.
Yeah, it was anticlimactic, wasn't it? People were like, because Bucks, you want Meltzer driver, fucking jump off the top, super kick, got him, like that type of fucking flip flop shit. But this match I didn't mind, but then Callis freaks out, runs from commentary, does the jump up heat spot or pulls Cassidy from getting the finish, which was great heat. But then nobody pays that heat off right there on Callis. So there's only one, and that's the problem. You're putting heat on a guy, even though he was a former good worker and whatnot. Is he going to pay that heat off? And how do you pay it off? There's only one way. Orange Cassidy versus Don Callis. And if we don't get that match, then Don Callis got the most heat on the pay-per-view, and heat is meant to be paid off to make a babyface. If Pockets goes over on Omega, it's not, that doesn't hurt Don Callis or pay off his heat at all. Callis is just the most hated guy right now because of that falsie and interrupting that pin. But nobody beat his ass or threw him off of anything. So, that's a problem. Guys need heat to be able to pay it off. So you put heat on a guy who can't pay it off.
Yeah, I think that the only thing I had to complain about that spot was, you know that Kenny Omega's got his whole BTE club that'll come out at any moment. Why didn't the Best Friends come out earlier during that? Like as soon as Don Callis came out and pulled him out, why didn't somebody from the Best Friends run out?
Exactly, bro. That should have been their spot to do that and then run them off. And if you were really going to interrupt the match and overbook it, Callis starts running like a motherfucker up to the ramp. Who comes out of the ramp to cut him off?
Gallows and Anderson.
It could be, absolutely. Or I would even go Scott D'Amore and the Impact Boys.
Oh, interesting. That would have been good. Yeah.
So he's caught between a fucking like Best Friends chase him. Gallows and Anderson are in one tunnel. He goes to run to the other one. Out comes fucking those guys, and then they do the run him out on a rail type shit where they all got him over his head and he's fucking freaking out. You know what I mean? Right. And then we can make up in our mind whatever the fuck we want to make up happens to him. But he needed to get caught with his, tail in the trap, but he didn't. He got away, and everybody is outsmarted by Don Callis. And will he pay that heat off? 90% chance no. But that would be a draw match. Don Callis versus Orange Cassidy. That's very much a good gimmick match to have. They'd probably do it this Friday instead of paying it off, at a pay-per-view, but still I think it would draw.
Yeah, I thought it was a, overall, like you mentioned, decent match. For Pac not to have any help from the Death Triangle, that makes sense. Pac's not going to need the help, but I just thought about why didn't Orange Cassidy have more help? Well,
right.
A couple more things here just to wrap up our AEW before we get into the headlines. So we had a tag team match between Sting, Darby Allin, and Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. My opinion, best match of the night. Sting.
It was up there.
Sting, 60 plus years old, looked fantastic. Looked like he was in his 40s, moving around the ring, diving off the ramp. I mean, looked great. What'd you think of the match? I mean, we will talk about the ending. As I mentioned, I didn't like the ending. I thought Darby should have gotten the pin, but the right team, I guess, I
think Stinger again, it wasn't the worst thing to pop the live crowd. It is a big thing. I totally get giving the guy a shine and fucking, getting him over, but Darby didn't need that win in a tag as much. So Stinger was good getting it. I think the pop was bigger there. I think Page and Scorpio Sky are awesome, man. They both have tons of money right now on them. Can they get on that? But I see Ethan Page with him, and I'm going, why the fuck wouldn't you just have hired Josh Alexander and made them the North? Because Page and Scorpio Sky are great, but they're going to take a year and a half to get to where the North was. You know what I mean? There's way more. And it's not like Josh Alexander is some kind of fucking slough, bro. The guy's awesome, and the arrogant guy who can cut the promo and the silent killer is a great fucking dichotomy. Now they're trying to go back and forth and make both of them sexy and smarmy, and it's not hitting as much, especially after Scorpio Sky was the big baby face who grabbed the brass ring. Now he's a heel motherfucker out of nowhere. Like, what? Okay. And leaving SCU. So yeah, this was a great match, man. And Stinger shined. There's no doubt about it. Everybody did really good in this. But it kind of gets lost in the middle of the card. You know what I mean? This might even have been better in the Bucks spot.
Right.
You know what I mean? Again, this is just booking 101. And like I said, there's 50 executive vice president reasons why they might have switched that.
So as we mentioned, tons of matches here. Anything you want to talk about Cody and Anthony Ogogo?
This was good too. This was really good, man. Cody's jacket popped me. Like, I need a fucking Founding Fathers updated nightmare jacket for one match. Like in
if he had come out like the Captain America Instagram photo, that would have popped me. But he didn't come out in full.
No, I mean, he loves all that shit, man. So he put money into his gear. He's got the money and whatnot. People were hot because they're like, earlier in the day, I guess it's the baby shower for Brandy. They have to post the pictures before the show, and then babies and heels who are in feuds are both there. Like, yay, Brandy! The wrestling's not real. Like, it's just like, okay,
come to my paid party. Yay.
Yeah, okay, that's what you want to do. Then you're gonna do it. Britt Baker and Sheeta was. I don't know. The chemistry just wasn't there. Like it felt like Britt Baker looks great. Like there's so much money written on her too. I think there's more money on her than there is Adam Cole. But you know, and Sheeta did great warm-ups too, kind of talking about her Bushido and the fucking stuff they did on the beach with her looked really good in the pre-tape. But sometimes the chemistry is just not there in ring. And it's not really anything that either girl did that was sloppy or botchy. You know what I mean? It just sometimes wasn't, it's just not there some nights, and some nights with the same person it can be. Tonight, I kind of felt like we were missing some of the connection of what was what. And even when Britt Baker as a heel won the title, which is a big moment, you know, and the crowd's on the comeback going DMD, which like, you don't want the crowd fucking doing your heel chants, bro. Like she's a baby face, right? So, but she's still trying to act heel. Even when she goes over, she doesn't really know how to react when she wins the title as a heel, which is a fuck you type thing, right?
She walks up the ramp and hugs Shivani, which I know you mentioned on Twitter. When she could, I mean, you still could have had the Baker and Shivani interaction. She could have walked up the ramp, made Shivani get on his knees, and like, you know, have him kiss her the belt or something like that.
Maybe there's a better thing.
But
she goes up to hug him, and my head explodes at home. I'm like, you know, whatever. And if she wanted to get me, like hug him, because Shivani even in the pregame says everybody knows we're friends, and I'm gonna hug her after this match if she wins. And I'm like, oh, okay, are you? And yeah, they do. But she should have fucking hugged him and then kneed him right in the balls, or fucking. He raises her hand, and from behind, Rebel hits him, gives him the fucking nuts, so we can see it real visually. But it would have been better with Britt Baker because the heat would be on her.
And she slaps the lockjaw on Shivani. I don't know.
Not really. You just leave him laying, and while he's there holding his nuts, writhing DMD, and like fuck you to the crowd. So they'd pop for it, but it's still really about her. Instead, it's a babyface win. And the other part that was rough with me, and this is the overbooking of false finishes in AEW and in the indies that I hate. Fucking Rebel, who looks great, drills, it goes switch reverse, drills fucking Britt Baker with the crutch in the head, fucking crushes her. Sheeta rolls up Britt Baker, 1-2, kick out. Dude, the weapon shot is the biggest heel part of the fucking thing. So whether it's baby or heel, whoever's taking it, that's the fucking go home. You don't bury the weapon shot, you guys. And they did it in the Bucks match too. Why are we using weapons as heels? To cheat. Heels get heat by cheating and breaking rules. Now we're doing it waka waka, even though the heel takes their own move. If it gets buried, we're burying the fucking switch on that. So Sheeta should have gone over on that fucking crutch shot. Nobody should be getting hit in the face with crutches and pipes and everything else and going kick out and then losing to a fucking submission or a impact fucking move. You know what I mean? So that's some bad indie shit that I don't like. Like if you're going to do that, there's ways to dodge around that to not make the heels look stupid of taking themselves out. You know what I mean? So the match wasn't too bad. It just was missing chemistry. And then at the end with the baby face shit with Shivani and no heel heat there, that to me was like, all right, we just missed big time. She's a baby now and she can't come out and act like a badass bitch because we're endeared to her for being smart as a dentist. Her whole package beforehand was how she works her ass off at the dentist job, then goes to the gym, then fucking is now your champ. Bro, that's a shit ton to be doing. That endears us to her.
Right.
So they're just not putting the heat where it belongs here. And she's a damn good heel. So good that she'll be a great baby face, but that's not how you make her into a baby face like that. So that was a big mistake at the end with not fucking taking out Shivani, in my opinion, man.
Yeah. Couple things left here. I want to talk about the Battle Royal last because it'll segue into the news headlines. But in regards to Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle, I've never watched a match where they put a ring in the middle of a field and then don't use it. They put the ring in the middle of the Stampede field. And I mean, I'm glad they ended with the live crowd. Obviously, I know why you want to do that so you can get the pop and all that. But like, they didn't even use the ring on the field. Just very confusing.
They did right in the beginning. It went in there. I'm like, why is there even a fucking ring in this shit, bro? If the whole thing is an arena street fight, I haven't watched the finish yet, so I don't know if the pin went down in the ring or not. It did.
Sammy Guevara got the victory in the ring inside with the arena with the pop and everybody, and that's how the show goes off the air with them flipping off.
In the other ring inside the arena with the people.
Yeah.
Okay.
It fed back into the arena where into the actual Daily's place where they fought, and then Sammy Guevara ended up picking up the victory at the end.
Okay, I don't know if I give him who do you get it on? Spears. That's who when they were individually paired off. That's who he was fighting, was Spears. I guess that to bring it back in the arena is where you want it to end on the highlight of the night, but the crowd was pretty fucking dead by then. I thought, especially during some matches, they were just sitting on their hands, and that's because of that Bucks Mox match, dude. They gave him everything there. Sammy Pin Spears felt anticlimactic. I guess, there isn't a ton of heat between them. The real heat is MJF and Jericho, or really even Hager and fucking Wardlow are bigger heats than Spears and Sammy. So that's an interesting pick for that finish. I think there's way more money in Wardlow and Hager, to be honest with you. But yeah, dude, by this time they're going through the arena and fucking hitting each other with every single thing there is. And dude, you know what popped me the most on this whole fucking pay-per-view, which I did see this morning? When Hager and Wardlow are fighting, did you see what happened when they went in the freezer?
When he slammed him on the meat or whatever and all that?
Oh, he slammed my meat. Yeah. No, they go in through
bread, no water.
Just meat. They go into the freezer and there's a fake pig cut in half down the fucking middle hanging from there. That's a total shot at Alexa Bliss.
Oh, okay.
I love that shit. That's my shit, bro. Of you want to fuck with, not that those guys don't fuck up wrestling over there enough with their own shit, but there's no reason to have a pig cut in half hanging from the fucking meat lockers, all bloody and shit. How a pig wouldn't be. It looks like you just ripped down through it with a fucking Husqvarna chainsaw and fucking hung it up there. That made me fucking laugh, dude.
I was more concerned with the fact that, there was a body slam onto the package of meats, making that meat now contaminated. That's a lot of meat that they lost.
I'd still eat it, bro. Okay. It's not a problem. It's in the freezer.
There was also a shot right with the Young Bucks. They mimicked a little bit of the Shield too, right? Kind of like a shot at Mox and Kingston too, as well at the beginning of their match. There was I liked the ending of the match, and he pointed out, Mike Roche thought it was a little anticlimactic in the chat room. He mentioned, but Sammy hit the 630 senton, so it was a huge move off the top of the turnbuckle. Okay. He got the win, and the crowd went nuts. So I thought it was a good ending, to be honest. I thought it was cool.
Good, man. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't.
I didn't like what followed after that with yay, everybody's in the ring, and let's flip the cameras off, and as we end this review, it's hunky-dory. That was a little
Yeah. I wonder what's going to happen here, because I see on the sheets MJF names the one female wrestler that's pinnacle material, and he puts over Dr. Britt Baker. Yep. And even though Serena's been working heel, they're going to have to work to that program. You know what I mean? And Britt will have her best match ever with Serena. But does that mean you make Serena inner circle? Or do you keep them separate and then shine on their own?
I would keep them separate currently. I think that it makes better for them to lead the division versus getting involved in the shenanigans and then being a lost player inside of the feuds of these tag teams.
I agree with that. But at the same time, if one goes, the other one's got to go.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. So I hope they don't. But knowing Khan and the way he fucking loves his factions or what have you, was one thing I really did like and I was surprised by was the Casino Battle Royale. I like the graphics. The setup was interesting to me. But then once they started, I was like, this isn't working the right way, where your suit of cards, 6 guys come out in consecutive order, and they got a countdown clock. 3 minutes. No. Countdown clock is 30 seconds tops, maybe 60, right. But like fucking 30. Really, it should be 20 or 10. But like 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 58, 57. Like that's bad.
Yeah, they could have done something better. Like, hey, in 3 minutes, the next block of people are coming out. Put their pictures or in little cards or something up on the screen with the clock. Here's who's coming out next. That would have been
right. Well. What I would have liked is actually having a casino dealer, and you could
or something.
Yeah, something along. But even the dealer's up there and doing it for real, and like you have it set up a certain way, so he shuffles up. And then you cut away, and he's got the deck how it should be.
Had Aubrey Edwards do it. She's doing the casino game for AEW, right?
Why not? You could have had a bunch of hosts and have them announce the fucking dudes and then cut back to the table so it looks like a real deal every fucking time. So it feels like this isn't set up phony wrestling, you know what I mean? But then when they cut away from the guy, you just have the cards ready to go for the next fucking thing. But the 3 minute countdown clock popped me. But then who's the big dude who's a truck that was fighting with fucking
Hobbs?
Hobbs. I always only call him Wobbs or Tommy Wobbs. But fucking Hobbs and Christian, they take each other out and they fuck off and lay on the ground for like 12 minutes, bro. They were down while their shit's going on. But in the end, we're down to Private Party and Matt Hardy along with Christian and Jungle Boy.
Right.
And then Private Party does and the big Joker card, Leo Rush. I was
going to get into the story.
Wow, bro. Could there be a bigger letdown like of who you're gonna fucking bring in? Leo Rush.
I thought he retired.
Yeah, me too. But apparently he's so good that he comes in and gets thrown out.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. Leo Rush was in the match for 2 minutes, guys. And then Matt Hardy, his tweet this morning was the best. I got rid of that inferior, whatever he said. Stay out of AEW.
and tries to like get a bunch of shit in that's way pre-planned and had to do it twice instead of just working a battle royal. And then some weird, look how athletic we are. I'm going to flip and eliminate you with the Private Party. And that didn't go off well. And then he's out and was like, everyone's like, all right, get the fuck out of here.
Leo Rush did not look very good in that ring. I'm sorry. I'm not a wrestler, but there's gifts pointed out to the moves, him doing it. Even the stunner off the ropes when he hits Matt Hardy, he didn't even
do it twice.
Yeah.
So, not a good surprise there at all, especially with everybody. So many, I go, with all the people you could have had, they could have had Tucky. I mean, Tucky could have come down there, wiped everybody out. But then we get Matt Hardy and and Christian and Jungle Boy in the end. And it looks like the Hardy Christian thing is going to like, all right, see ya, Jungle Boy. We're going to get some old schoolers here. But they don't. They do awesome business.
Right.
Matt Hardy gets eliminated, and then it's fucking Jungle Boy and Christian. And as soon as Matt got eliminated, I was like, they better do the right biz here, which is put Jungle Boy over, which I was shocked at because I thought it was going to be a nostalgia thing with Christian and Matt, which would have been great too. But the reason you bring in guys like that, Matt and Christian, is to shine new talent and get them over. A lot of times that doesn't happen because the guy they're trying to shine isn't as over as he should be. They did the right business here, getting Jungle Boy over. Crowd popped huge. Out comes Luchasaurus, puts him on the shoulder. Marco Stunt's cheerleading. And I was very pleased with that business at the end. And that's two veterans who really get it of why they're there, being non-selfish and getting that fucking kid over, dude. That was probably the best bit of business on this show, but it didn't flow to get to that point. Like seeing Penta get eliminated and Penta's got the Joker shit on. Why wouldn't you make Penta the fucking wild card guy, the Joker guy? You know what I mean? So there was things in this match with the countdown clock and the Leo Rush that was like, ugh. But at the end, the best business got done here.
I agree. I like the fact that Jungle Boy got the win. He got the pop. I mean, I'm a big Christian fan. So I kind of wanted to see more. I wanted to see Christian versus Omega. I think that'll be a good match. But you're right. For business-wise, enhancing stars, bringing up new talent, and satisfying the audience's want and desire to not have veterans constantly taking the rightful or what they feel the rightful spot of these new up-and-comers. Everybody left happy. Fans were happy with it. I think they did great business. And it was overall, like you mentioned, a good match. But yeah, Lio Rush, man, he didn't really make big of an impact. But you know who else who's trying to make a big impact is the world's strongest man. Let's get into the headlines here. That segues right here. Mark Henry, guys, last night was announced as the brand new analyst and commentator for AEW's brand new Friday night show called Rampage. For those unaware, AEW will be moving to TBS Dynamite. That is, as the NHL hockey is going to be on TNT. So, as a concession, we assume.
Go ahead. I was going to cut you out, but I got a thought.
As a concession, they're going to start AEW Rampage on Fridays as a 1-hour broadcast. So, Mark Henry has joined. What do you think of Mark Henry being announced there?
Kind of like what you said. I mean, I'm a huge respect for Mark Henry and what they're doing with Busted Open. That's really the crossover, probably why he got the spot, but what are you going to do with Mark Henry and Big Show on commentary when they're more legendary and massive than all the guys on your roster and look like they could kill anybody anytime they want to? That's a rough, and again, they're going to open themselves up to criticism of here comes more WWE guys sucking a paycheck. You know what I mean? So shout out to Mark. He's getting his money and I'm sure he'll do the best job he always does, great work ethic and great insight and great respect for the business. But when you're trying to go new school and you keep bringing in old school, like that just is like, look what happened to TNA. Look what happened to WCW. Like it opens up to the peanut gallery to fucking say that shit. And then if that does happen, they're going to be like, well, they brought in all these old timers and when they said they were going to do something else, I told you so. I told you so. So that's a fucking dangerous thing to do there.
I have a couple thoughts on this. I want your opinion on this. So the first off being, you got Mark Henry now involved in AEW as this commentator and whatnot. Do you feel like Mark Henry and Lio Rush had to have a conversation? For those unaware, Lio Rush and Mark Henry had a war of words 1 year ago this month, May of 2020, where they went back and forth via Twitter. Of course, Mark Henry used his show, the Busted Open Radio, to relay his information. And of course, this all stemmed from Lio Rush's quote unquote negative attitude, or Henry saying that he had tried to help Rush navigate him through WWE, but Rush didn't see it that way. So, they're both appearing, new company. It's been a year. We went through COVID. Tons of things have happened in life. Did they bury the hatchet or do they just keep them separate?
There's never going to be a hatchet burial. It's wrestling. They might shake hands and be like, bro, I'm sorry. Hey, man, no, I forgive you, young blood, and fucking da-da-da-da. But the reality is Lio Rush is buried with Mark Henry forever. And fucking, I bet he was shitting his pants getting there if he knew that Mark Henry was going to be on the show. Like, what's going to happen? And Mark probably was hanging with the over guys, and they probably silent heated him, like all that kind of shit that goes on, bro. And that's all Lio Rush's immaturity and not knowing how to deal with the wrestling world the right way, and who's going to be on the show every week and who may not be back. That they're like, what are you going to do with Lio Rush? Have another athletic 135-pound black kid? I mean, we already got 3 tag teams of them who are more over than Lio Rush is, and Lio Rush shit on the business and no one's really into him. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to last that long, in my opinion. No matter how many flips and shit you think you're going to be a rapper again. We already got a guy who comes out and does it awesome.
Really good. Yeah. In fact, my shit froze up during the middle of his rap. I was pissed. I was like, fuck, that's the one thing I was looking for right now.
Yeah, he was killing it. One thing is, though, with that Lio Rush spot, dude, why would you give that to him when you could have what is, and this changes the whole business. And this is way better and way bigger business. Way bigger. Forbidden Door is open. Omega takes the Impact title. You need a fucking high-flying black guy for it. Why the fuck would you not have Rich Swann be the wild card, the Joker, win the motherfucker, and now he's number 1 contender to come back
to 8. I'm coming to your house and taking your title then.
Shout out Jungle Boy. I'm glad he's the crowd favorite. That's business, bro. That's long-term business, is Rich Swann coming in as the Joker, fucking winning it, bro.
Yeah, that would have been good. Or even Moose. Have Moose be the Joker and him show up as the wild card.
Could be. I think he's a bigger star. There's better teeth in it, and Swann getting in and doing it on the story, and then yada, 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 yada.
Yeah, and that could have been a cool visual to see Jungle Boy and Rich Swann at the end going, locking up. That I think
I wouldn't even have gotten it that far. I would have taken it probably. I would have had Jungle Boy eliminated. It wouldn't have been those two at the end because they're both baby faces,
right?
And we need a good heel like Rich Swann over on Matt Hardy might have worked pretty well. Like if he would have taken out both Private Party and it's Matt Hardy and Swann, that's probably how I would have ended it with Swann up. So. There was good in that, but long-term business-wise, they missed, especially with Rich. If you want a fucking athletic African-American dude, why not go with the one that's going to be in the exact business that you fucking set up? That to me shows that the EVPs aren't thinking, to get max value. Everything with me is max value, and there it was, and we missed it.
So moving from the ring now into the business side of AEW, Mark Henry, he's on Busted Open Radio. You've got Tommy Dreamer there. You've got Dave LaGreca. It looks like, and this is smart from both sides, whether you're Dave LaGreca.
Bubba will be in AEW soon. I can almost guarantee that. He's too good of a worker not to, especially if those other guys are getting spots.
My thing was, this is smart for both sides. You got Dave LaGreca, who essentially you're becoming the real AEW radio show, not Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez, because you actually have people on your show that know what the hell they're talking about. And it's good for Tony Khan is he's got an outlet with people he can trust to feed information through, right? It sounds like we're close to having Busted Open Radio being the official radio show of AEW.
I agree with that. I think that Bubba's a super smart worker. I think that Mark Henry is too. And forging those alliances definitely give more credibility. I don't know if they're on the payroll Meltzer wise, but Bubba also knows to lay out and not fuck up his shot if he's got a 2-year contract. So I don't think it's Bubba like stumping for bad creative, because there's no way his fucking passion for the business would allow that himself to put over a bunch of shit that's not good. But he's also a smart enough worker to know that I can get on if those guys are. So we'll give this guy a shot. And it won't look like the Meltzer ass kissing, but is he going to step up when Tony's lying about the numbers and trying to put things over and he can lay out. He doesn't have to fucking, oh, well, what about this, bro? And try and get him in an aha gotcha. You know what I mean? But he's also smart enough to not rock that boat if he's going to be getting a paycheck from him on the regular. And Bully Ray is awesome wherever he goes, bro. It doesn't matter if he's a stuttering dancing fool in ECW or the most dominant team in WWE or reinvents himself as Bully Ray in Impact. This guy, you give him a fucking chance to get back over with something new, he's going to get it over. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, as well. He gets everything over, as well as his lady gets a lot of things over. And you can check out patreon.com with her partner, Velvet Sky. And they can check out the Beautiful People podcast.
Well, Angelina Love.
His partner. Sorry.
Yeah, I was say, wow, Bully Ray's dating Angelina too. Hot news. Luckiest guy on the planet. Yeah. But yeah, man, and that's Angelina's doing her thing in ROH with the Allure right now, and really shining over there herself, because she also gets this business fully. And Velvet is in NWA Power, but I don't know how full-time of a contract that is, but dude, they'd be awesome in like kind of being like a dual power sharing over the women's division in AEW. I think that would be very interesting. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they both look hot as hell. So who's not going to want them back? And they can play the mean girls if they need to, or the sexy girls if they need to.
All right. Well, let's move on to a hot topic here that happened over the weekend, reported in the Hamin Media discussion group by our own hot sauce, William Alicia. Selena Del Renta apparently has had a war of the words with Hannibal.
Yeah, man.
Those who don't know who Hannibal is, he's been I guess you might say a successful YouTube channel with shoot interviews with different wrestlers, whether you like them or not, but it's somewhat successful. And he returned to wrestling. For those unaware, he was also one of the wrestlers that got hepatitis C and had to leave wrestling for a period of time, and now he's back. You guys have talked about it a little bit off air, seeing him in the ring with Justin Credible and how hard he went with him. And this led to this story as well. So this is what Selena writes, her on Twitter as Selena Del Renta. The effects of being right, bitch Hunter Hannibal. he hurt a student by smacking him across the forehead with a chair and split his head open. The guy had to go to the ER, and after I asked him why, he told me, quote, "It was better for the views anyway, and there's more." After all this, by the way, Hannibal's blocked her, but she goes on to continue. He would do anything for a little clout. I'm okay with violence, but he literally could have killed him with that chair. These are just some unnecessary things he has done. Lacey Von Erich had to apologize to the crowd for the kids in the audience. Full disclosure, Hannibal came to me asking to manage me under his mask character, Blood Hunter, and offered to pay my rates in exchange for the clout. SWE really liked the gimmick and offered to pay me my rate instead. Hannibal became really possessive and then wanted to only manage me. So there's some back and forth private messages there where basically Hannibal's asking her to be his exclusive manager, and she's like, well, I don't know if I can do that because I manage my whole gimmick is I manage factions. Whether you're watching MLW, you watch Lucha Underground, SWE right now, I manage factions. It's kind of my thing. And he at first was like, well, I feel like I should be, you should be my manager if I'm paying your rate. But then SWE came in and they're like, well, no, we're paying her rate. So now she didn't feel obligated, right? So she felt more comfortable saying, no, I'm not going to do that. So this continued to go back and forth. She went on to say that after he bled all over my $2,500 Fendi suit, we agreed on no more blood on the matches. The next two suits after that were covered in blood. I asked for extra money for the outfits, and he gave me $400 and then went complaining to the company about me asking for money. His first match versus Justin Credible, Justin walked out on him after he smacked him across the rib cage, making it impossible for Justin to finish the match as he was badly hurt. The veteran. It's pro wrestling, not pro murdering. Fast forward to the match versus the new student, smacks him over the head, the kid bleeds, and after the match, Teddy Long tells him that he did too much and expresses the danger he's putting people in. He proceeds to tell Teddy that he's an asshole and it was better for the views anyway. Fast forward, he's been complaining about SWE owning him money. Nobody asked him to pay for anything. He's been offering, apparently, this being Hannibal, to pay for big-time opponents. So SWE is not offering to do this. Hannibal's saying, well, if I pay to bring him in, can we do it? Yesterday, he sent a letter to the company demanding the matches he was promised, a storyline where he's managed by his local manager, doesn't want to relate to me as I, quote, asked for too much money, and doesn't want to deal with Teddy Long, the GM. Yesterday, he sent a letter to the company, and then she put it like a what an idiot meme sign, just saying his YouTube is full of bullshit. Hannibal is unsafe, unprofessional, and mentally unstable. And then someone asked the last thing here, have you or anyone seen papers of him being cured from Hep C? And she responded to that, no, that's another thing. He took the liberty of bleeding all over me and different workers and has not showed us any paperwork.
Yeah, lots unpacked there, man. I mean, I've never worked with the guy, and he's done a lot for capturing the history of wrestling through interviews. Maybe not my favorite interview style with, need some personality injected, but
Ben Stein's got more personality than this guy, dude.
Yeah, I agree. But this is career-ending bad heat right here. The Hep C thing right out of the gate, and why is he addicted to getting color in hardcore if he has that? I think DSW really fucked this guy up. I've heard his shoots on the Major Brothers and other guys fucking with him, and Bill DeMott and the training that went on there. It was pretty old school, shut the fuck up and do these weird things to be hazed in. So I understand when they get a guy, and I'm guilty of this too, because it's just the mob. When you get a guy and you can get in his head and then everybody knows it, they're going to keep fucking with him till they break him to see if they can break him. And because that he's unstable, that's not a smart thing to do in the workplace shooting era we live in. But they broke him a while ago, I think. And the fact that you're on an SWE family show or whatever, Lacey Von Erich had to apologize, and you want to get color like it's fucking CZW deathmatch bullshit, and then you're gonna tell fucking what's his name? Eddie Long to fuck off. You're fucked, bro. You're fucked right there. You obviously got some issues and it's better for the numbers. What? People are tuning in to go, oh, Hannibal fucked up some student and we got to watch it. Is anybody saying that? No. So we have some
Did anybody go out of their way to find the Justin Credible walking out match? No.
That's the problem too, bro. Justin Credible is in really bad and unhealthy shape, and I respect the shit out of him. But when I worked a show with him pre-COVID and I saw him, and I hate to stooge guys out, but I got to talk real in the locker room. I was like, bro, do you want me to help you? This is not his wrestling boots. These are just his work boots to get his shoes back on. He couldn't really do it himself. Like, I was like, bro, do you want me to help you, man? Like, and I'm not trying to put myself over as some big, one of the good brothers, but I got a huge amount of respect for what that guy gave to my entertainment and enjoyment through ECW and everything he's done in his career wise. And he's always been cool to me on every show we work. And I don't want to see a guy suffer like that. I want to see him lose the weight, be off of whatever substances he may be on, but for the stress of his wife being ill, like all that compounds. I think his kid had, I don't know, when I remember when he was little and had some learning cognitive things going on. So all that shit stacked up on a guy is brutal. Then you're going to go out and waffle him with a chair. Bro, if I fucking got stiff with Hacksaw, I remember one time I got stiff with Hacksaw in a chin lock and he got fucking hot at me. he got hot at me. So if you've been in this business since DSW days, which is 16 years ago, and you still don't know how to work veterans, and then your excuse is, fuck that guy, it's better. Like, dude,
it probably has a lot to do with the YouTube clout, right? Like, I get the views and I get
what the fuck is that, bro? And that's the other thing too. I wasn't going to bring it up, but I know Stevie won't care. I know Hannibal's tight with Paz. Everybody's tight with Paz. Paz is a good fucking dude, and does good business across the board. That's where
Paz is actually a wrestling journalist, if you will, that is unbiased and can have everybody and anyone on.
100%. And he operates in a gray area where everyone who's a hot take person like myself or what have you, or Hannibal, can go to him. In Paz is Switzerland, and that's a great place to be. But now fucking now he's taking Paz's stuff and putting it on his channel with Stevie, and Stevie's like, this guy keeps using my shit without, not like he needs to ask or clear it with Stevie, but it's those small things that Stevie's up here and a super nice guy, but Hannibal's just using stuff because he thinks it'll get fucking clicks and clout to have it on there, instead of trying to say, hey, I'm going to do this. Is that cool with you, bro? And Stevie would probably be like, yeah, no problem. But it's the fact of ending around for these things. And to the boys, when you're emailing Selena De La Renta, who's beautiful, easy on the eyes and over, I'll pay for your fucking flight and this shit for the clout. You look like, and paying for his opponents that are high level opponents, you are a mark for yourself in front of the boys once that gets out. If you were doing that, trying to get signed to raise your clout to get to a point of like, oh, he's fighting top guys, fine. But when you do that and you're with Just Incredible and you fuck them up, the Jericho and those guys aren't going to go, oh, Hannibal should be here because he faced him. Like, they're going to hear the real on the other end. So I think he just wants the matches that he never got because his career, much like mine, never got to that highest level. And whatever it is with these dark and mythic gimmicks, that's not my thing. So getting color is something he enjoys in this, I call them vampire gimmicks, like all this dark side shit. But now you're doing it on indie shows for next to nobody, and you're telling the people who are booking you that to fuck off, who are legends. Not a good look in the locker room, bro. Who's going to bring you in after that? And those, especially when this girl who's young and way more over puts you on blast like that. It's just a lot of not really seeing who you are and where you are in the business, and then trying to do things that get exposed to make you look up here, eventually make you look down here in front of everybody. So I feel bad for him because, he's a guy who's put in decades, who wants his shot. However, hasn't done things obviously the right way and has been exposed for it. And then when he's chastised by veteran talent for being like, what the fuck are you doing? He doubles down on stupid and goes, fuck it. It was for the ratings and that shit anyway. Like, instead of going, I'm so sorry, dude. I'll never make sure we get blood again. And I know your suits cost a shit ton of money and I apologize. And Teddy, I mean, no disrespect. Instead, word is that he was backstage going, I'm owner of this company, and he's not, apparently. So delusions of grandeur. I mean, wrestling's filled with mentally unstable people, bro. So this is what I'm kind of chalking that up to. But good luck getting over and getting work or getting interviews that are high level. Like, all this kind of hurts him, man, unfortunately. And sometimes guys are their own worst enemies when it comes to it. The hepatitis C thing, enough alone of somebody answering and asking and answering that question for every promoter to go, nope.
Definitely a dicey situation. Well, someone else who also sometimes puts herself in dicey situations. She's on your board, Rina, Japanese, and then Japanese.
How about we can talk about that too. How about old boy on AEW fucking who did the Japanese fucking?
I have that story here too. Yeah.
Sorry,
so we can transition through that as well. So Nia Jax, I thought it was great. WWE, and this is going to include her post about yesterday as well. So WWE yesterday during the pay-per-view, before the pay-per-view started, tweeted out one of Nia Jax's debut matches on Monday Night Raw, and it was against Britt Baker, which I thought was really smart, right?
And if any of you refute that, I dare you to come out here and do something about it.
So WWE selling for Britt Baker, like that's a weird thing to be like trying to squash her social media wise. Somebody had to greenlight that, when the reality is what I saw of Britt Baker post that barbed wire match when Tony Khan goes up to her and is like, that was the best thing there was. There's like a second and a half where she looks at him and like, oh, this fucking Mark, you know what I mean? And like, that tells the entire tale to me of how the locker room feels about that guy. And then when she won the belt last night, she was kind of not boo-boo facing, but not ecstatic about it, or not like, I'm the fucking number one, how a heel should be. Fuck all of you. It was kind of like lackluster of like, yeah, I won and this match wasn't great and da-da-da. To me, if I'm WWE, that means we can pull their top heel woman, that she's not fucking satisfied. Plus we got Adam Cole, who we could put the pressure on to say, get your chick to sign, otherwise we're going to bury your ass. And then, or we'll come over and blow sunshine up your ass and be like, you guys are going to be the hottest thing going. And she jumps ship and fucking hurts them. That tweet makes WWE look petty and selling, especially for Nia, who is not on a hot run right now, who's definitely out of shape and putting on fucking pounds, and like her work is not really that great right now. So you're going to put that over like Nia's the queen of the ring. It doesn't really, it just makes like, hey, Ryan Satin put this out to be cute. Like that's what I fucking see on that. But then the get back of the pig being cut up on AEW, now that's how you fire shots. You don't have to say nothing. You don't have to put it out there. It's just a prop bit that fuck you to Alexa Bliss and the fucking phoniness of wrestling, and not protecting your character. Like those are way better quality shots than WWE selling pre-pay-per-view on a tweet. That makes them look real 13-year-old girl right there, bro.
Well, speaking of Nia as well, she's gone on Twitter and took it upon herself with Pride Month coming up to announce that she is pansexual. For those who don't know what pansexual is, it means she identifies as an individual who's sexually attracted to any type of person.
Who's that?
Nia Jax. The joke, of course, now running around is she's pancake sexual. That's the joke. I've seen that multiple times today. Pancake sexual. So she has come out that she is pansexual, which I was explaining is they are attracted to males, females, non-binary, transgender. Basically, she's attracted to anything and everybody. So in theory, she could marry the pig that they killed on AEW.
Whatever, man. You're a fucking. What do you like? Fucking dudes? You like chicks? I don't know, dude. Like,
I just found it interesting that she had to go ahead and every time someone like, I'm okay. Like if you have a great story about it, or I've been struggling my whole life, but if you're just a celebrity and okay, now I'm going to tell you guys I'm pansexual. It's like, oh, you're totally just tweeting that to get clout here. You really don't care about the LGBTQ people,
right, dude? And that's what's going on in marketing. Somebody couldn't do that, and maybe she is bi or whatever. I don't say pan or whatever the fuck. Like, none of that means you either like pussy or like dicks. If you like both, then fucking like both. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So whoever it is has got some fucking pushing to do to get her off. I'll tell you.
There's a Twitch comment that just popped me. Nia Jax is pansexual. I guess Shayna rubbed her off. I mean, rubbed off on her.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's it's wrestling, bro, and fighting. There's tons of gay women in it, and there has been for years, you know, and a lot of them had to be more closeted than some of the dudes have, to be honest with you. So whatever, dude. If she likes it any which way but loose, then she can have it that way. But
Inner Spaceman, it's called Interspecies Erotica, you jackass. Sorry, that's a quote from Clerks too.
All right. I wasn't even supposed to work here today. But yeah, whoever it is got a lot of fisting to do. That's is what I see at the end of the day. To go back to with what was it? Them trying to pull the rib. They just look small. You know what I mean? That WWE needs to be above all of that, bro.
All right. Well, next story we got here is you kind of previewed it there. AEW, this hours after we got done talking about it on Light the Fuse, released Spanish announcer William Urbina for making fun of Hikaru Shida and her accent. To recap those comments, if you didn't see Light the Fuse this weekend, Alex Abrahante said, do Shida, as in translate her promo, not like, you know, make fun of her. And he then started speaking incoherently using the stereotypical accent. Thunder Rosa told him to shut up. He continued. Thunder Rosa said, I will throw this pen at you if you don't stop. Dasha said, stop it, you are mean. And then, yes, as we found out hours later after discussing that and Light the Fuse, he's canned. He's fired. No longer with AEW. Ben, crazy world.
You knew that was coming, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's just fascinating that some of these people, granted, you shouldn't have done that on a hot mic, obviously, but I don't know. I look at other people who are still with the company and like who have done worse as far as announcers, like, I don't know, Excalibur dropping the N-word at wrestling events, and he still has a job, but I guess this guy mocking somebody who's Hispanic, not a white person. Like, it'd be one thing if this is a white commentator, like, oh, those words are going to come out now. But like, this is a Hispanic who's probably been made fun of his whole life for his accent as well when talking in different languages. And he's having some fun and poking fun of her, but he gets fired.
Yeah, I mean, to me, obviously, with what they have done, social justice warrior wise, they have to stick to that, you know. But what I want is for the Japanese chick to come back and make fun of Spanish accent and get into some fucking shit. But it's too late for that now because they had to toe the line and fucking. I don't know if this dude was stoned or what, not knowing who he was working for, doing that shit, which I find half-ass hilarious, but that's why.
Maybe his thought process was nobody's listening to us anyway on the Spanish.
But that's when they're gonna fucking use that. But I don't think there was a thought process there. But then on that same show, Jake Roberts comes out and does the exact same thing to fucking Miro.
Right.
So, it's now okay that a 67-year-old does it because we can chalk that up to fucking he's just out of touch, or Russian lives and Bulgarian insult and racism isn't as stinging as the classic American white guilt Japanese World War II is, even though it's not white guilt. It's a dude who's a fucking Latino dude, and there's no heat between Japanese and Asians and fucking Latinos, but we have to do that because why? So, you know, these double standards that we paint ourselves in with a fake moral compass. Meanwhile, we do so many different stereotypes and play them up. But if we call them out for what it is and do some old Warner Brothers fucking racism on top of it, then that's wrong. But that over there is not wrong. We'll judge by a case basis, depending on who's more over in the storyline and who we can just throw on the fire like cordwood and fuck them over. So it's all as carny and mobbed up and fucking double standard hypocrisy as you can possibly want it to be, bro.
Well, keeping on AEW, I got a couple more stories here. AEW reportedly has signed 3 new stars, as we talked about on Light the Fuse. It looks like Mark Sterling now is going to be a permanent fixture, as he has signed and is Jade Cargill's new on-screen manager, as well as AEW has signed the tag team Bear Country. Bear Boulder and Bear Bronson debuted for AEW back in December and have regularly appeared on Dark and Dark Elevation. The duo was also involved in the Casino Tag Team Royal at AEW Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
No other contracts. Details reported at this time, and they have yet to make an official announcement. So yeah, it looks like, but they think that likely Bear Country and Sterling were working under a tier contract where it was a per appearance, and moving them to tier 1 is the company's base contractor agreement. So it sounds like they probably are getting a base salary. I think AEW, I don't know what it is now, but when they had announced, or the speculation was the base salary was like 50 to 60K, and then you get a percentage of all merchandise or whatnot for some of these AEW talents. When they first started, they were talking about everyone's going to be on the same playing field. So I don't know how accurate that is now, but good for those guys. They got a full-time gig, and they can not worry about if the paycheck's going to clear.
Yeah, man. I wish they would not protect their side. They did some things in those early matches. I was like, these guys look great, but they've got a long way to go as far as getting who they are and what it is. And I'd love to see that AEW tag team division really built. You know what I mean? We haven't really built that division. We just have a bunch of tag teams and groups and all that shit, but the titles itself need to be built around. I mean, even guys like FTR and whatnot aren't really in the mix with that. They're in a clique, you know what I mean? So, and then you have mismatched top guys fighting the Bucks, so we really need to establish Private Party, the fucking Acclaimed, even Jungle Boy and Rex gimmick, like all that shit. Like there's a lot of work there to do, but I think there's money written on the big bears. I will say one thing you got to put over, and I saw this tweet too, Kevin Matthews put it out, and he's absolutely right, and it's strong as shit, that WrestlePro with Hawkins and Ryder have been doing a great job of getting guys shots at AEW. Look who they put out there: Stratlander, MJF, these guys. Now there's a couple others, I think Kevin said there's like 7 guys who've gotten a shot coming out of WrestlePro. That's all good stuff, man, for them. A really good look for their school and providing young, competent, hungry talent. I just would like to see them working the right style, working safe, and the Bears should be going over squashing dudes. Like they need a big fucking, mauling guys run. And I think like Private Party and the Acclaimed dude is going to get over in his entrance, with the fucking rapping and shit.
Right.
So he don't need to fucking win a match because people just want to see him walk from there and get some snaps on you and get fucked over. So hopefully they treat these guys super strong, but think about all the guys, bro. Like there's got to be cuts coming soon. Yeah. You can't bring in Big Show, Mark Henry, sign these guys. Hey, Leo Rush gets a spot, and then where is fucking, Sonny Kiss and fucking Janela? How about
I will say in fairness to AEW, I would think them being moved to TBS, I think they renegotiated their contract. I would have hoped that they would have gotten more money out of TNT for moving. Like, you guys are making us moves. Like, I would have hoped that, and we're going to be the #1 show on TBS now, because there's other than American Dad, what else comes on TBS is brand new. You know what I mean?
But who's watching over there? Who's going to turn the channel?
I think that's kind of that's what I'm saying. I hope they got some more money, hoping in the fact that this is going to be their 1 million people now watching on TBS.
And you got Rampage and Dark, but where is who's the Jack Evans and Helico? Fucking how about the librarian dude? Like all these guys they sign who just sit there and sing Jericho's fucking theme song now. Like, where are they? Are they ever really going to get a shot? Not when you're putting money out for Mark Henry and these other people who need to have camera time, who are bigger stars than you, instead of establishing these younger stars like they did with Jungle Boy. But we need to have that for Bear Country. We need to have that for everybody, but it ain't going to happen like that, unfortunately, because, the booking is still at a 2nd and 3rd grade level on a lot of things. You see that when we just don't have Rich Swann in that spot as the Joker. Like, that's just the spot. And you watch the bus go away. You're like, oh, see you later. I guess we won't catch that one. Okay.
Well, speaking of tag teams, Cody Rhodes teases there's possibly going to be a new title on the way in AEW. Ben, Cody Rhodes recently was on I'm speaking on a media call. Rhodes shot down rumors of TBS title being discussed. He says the TBS title has not been discussed, but another title, as a lot of people can guess, has been the title that has been more discussed about potentially coming in the future. I'll let you speculate on what that is, but I'll give you a hint. We have a lot of teams on the roster. So it sounds like what the way Cody Rhodes is pointing out is we might be getting some sort of 6-man tag team division with all these factions. Ugh. I know Michael Jargo is really excited about that.
Well, does he
loves titles. He loves titles. He's got like 20 of them at a time.
Does he?
No, I'm being facetious. Jargo hates championships.
Yeah, the focus group championship. Yeah, dude.
The focus group champion. That's good.
That's bad, bro. Like a 6-man tag. You haven't even established your tag division. Your women's division is just getting established. Your TNT title is now going to become the TBS title. That's why people are asking them that, which reality is you just become the TV title and be defended every week on TV. But that'll make them look belly blushed after coming out with the first TNT title that looked like shit, having to wait for another belt, getting that one, and then getting demoted to TBS. So if you're on TBS calling it TNT, that reminds people that one time we were on another bigger channel, but now it's over here. So you just got to call the TV title. 6-man tags, that's destined to fail. Nobody gives a fuck about the Freebird rule. It was corny when they did it, in my opinion. New Day got it over, but
even New Japan thing, because all those factions in New Japan, they've got the 6-man championship. Ring of Honor does it too.
Name me the top 3 factions in New Japan.
Bullet Club, Chaos, and Los Ingobernables de Japón.
I can name the guys from Bullet Club. That's it. So that shit.
Right. I hope I made you proud there, Jargo. I think I got 3.
I want everybody to go to the grocery store, pick 10 random people, and say, "Do you know about Los Ingobernables de la fuck off or whatever it is in New Japan?" And people are like, "What did you just say to me?" Like nobody knows. That's for 1% of the fucking wrestling world. Nobody knows anybody in those groups. So they're not over, and now they're marking out for Japan that with things that aren't over there that definitely won't get over in America. So, there's just a ridiculous of not seeing what you really should be doing, and especially with Khan cutting the promo on Nick Khan about Japan, they just look so bad, bro. They look so bad with it.
Well, that's kind of all the AEW news I've got. Let's move into some WWE news here. Still a little intersects with AEW. There's a couple topics here, but the first one is Peyton Royce, as she reveals why WWE Raw match, or what happened, if you will, after she kind of left WWE, as well as her final match with Asuka. So recently, both Peyton Royce and who's the other? Billy Kay, appeared on Busted Open Radio, talk about their releases. Billy said, I wish I knew, to be honest. It was a total shock. I had no idea. When I got the phone call, I thought it was in regards to something else. I was like, oh, good. They need me to do something else. I'm needed for something else. And when I heard those words, we're going to release you, my heart dropped. I was so shocked and I was heartbroken. I don't have any answers, and I don't think I'm ever going to get any answers. So at the moment, I'm still trying to, have peace with it. Peyton also said she was blindsided. She said it was an absolute shock. Obviously, they do budget cuts once a year, but they hadn't done one in a while. And I thought this last year was just purely because of the pandemic. I didn't see it coming. And maybe I should have, especially because I wasn't really doing anything since they split us up. I was laying in the middle of a massage in my bedroom, and then Sean Spears walked in and said, you should probably check your phone. And I was like, okay. And I checked it, and I was like, yep, I'm done. She continued on to say that complete shock.
She had to put over that she jumped up naked to check her phone to give that visual.
Yeah, of course. Complete shock. I feel like we're still going through the waves of it. One day I feel so free and so excited for these opportunities that we can take upon ourselves. And then other days I still sit and wonder what happened. I don't understand. Like what Jess said, I don't think there's much of a reason other than cuts had to be made. But she said that what I found interesting in this article is, and sounds like WWE Creative. To be honest with you, I feel like Creative never really understood us. When we first came in, Vince really loved our first promo, and he was like, give them the microphone every week, which thank the Lord, because not many people get that opportunity. And it's such a good way for the audience to really get to know you and understand who you are. So I know Vince enjoyed it, but I just don't think the creative understood it. And they just wanted us to send us in a direction like it was, and that, which was fine. But it was just like, I'm not sure they really understand what we see for ourselves. I'm not sure they really ever understood us. And when they split us up, it was like, well, now we understand them less. Very interesting information. There's a whole, obviously, more quotes and stuff like that back and forth. But yeah, it sounds like Peyton Royce was a little shocked that she got released after, I'm assuming she had a match with Asuka. That's the basis of the headline. The match she had with Asuka was kind of strange. She said,
well, this is them in the bubble, bro.
Okay.
The reason she got the match with Asuka is because she was probably complaining and wanted her shot. And then they put her on Raw Talk. They're like, you have 2 minutes to cut the most impassioned promo. You got to convince Vince that you want this. And she does the whole thing. Wow. And this is after Rhea Ripley wins a title, and fucking her mom from Australia tweets out, give somebody else a chance. So her mom is like shaking up the sheets like the office isn't going to see that, and then go, we got her right here, bro. This is what they live for. And then they put her on Raw Talk so she can cut her, I love this business, I'm the best wrestler and I'll face any woman out there. Okay, good. And they're like, we got her. Let's start reeling her in slow. Then they put her out there with Asuka, knowing that she can't go with Asuka, and that they're going to fucking put Asuka over on her. In her mind, she's going, I finally have a chance at the champion, and we're going to carry this out in a program. Meanwhile, it's one loss and she's off TV. And after she loses, Rhea Ripley comes out to step on the business right away. So now after they had her all gassed up that this was going to be her time, they fucking did the mom thing, that, and then beat her, and then she's on the shelf. This is being in the WWE bubble fully.
Yeah,
and
she continued on.
What's that? Sorry.
I apologize. I was going to say, she continued on saying that the match she had with Asuka was kind of strange because afterwards I felt so happy and so fulfilled. Like, yes, I'm finally starting to scratch that wrestling itch. But I had this really freaky, strange feeling overcoming. And I like to think I'm psychic, so maybe that's why. But I just had this really strange feeling that this was going to be my last wrestling match. It was just this feeling came over me, and then it went away, and then nothing. But then I found out afterwards that I only got this match because someone had COVID. It wasn't because of my Raw Talk promo got me the opportunity, you know?
No, that's a lie. Like, that's what they told her. But the reality is, bro, it's a trap. And this is being in the bubble. She doesn't even see how all that with her mom and all that is all them Master Shoot Theater behind closed doors fucking washing it. We got another one, pal. What are we going to do with this one? You know, like, that's exactly being in the wrestling bubble and being so blind to how they are fucking with you and setting you up to do that. Then they take her tag partner. What gimmick did they give Billie Kay?
The chick, she had a resume and she was looking for a new tag team partner, right?
Bro, if that's not a fucking complete rib of you're on your way out the door, we're going to give you this as a rib. Are you going to do it on camera? But Billie Kay's got such great fucking comedic waka waka delivery. She actually gets it over with something that's a rib. Does she realize what's going on? And are they just working the sheets and they're true workers or not? I don't think so. I think they really believe like, well, this is what's going to get me over and I'll do this and I'll be the wrestler. But like, they're right. They never should have split them up. They don't understand what the fucking Smothers Brothers comedy elbow in the ribs shit is that they do and how to write for it the proper way. And both of them were separated to be tested. Billie Kay got a little bit more mileage out of it because she took the fuck you rib of like, oh, they broke them up. Well, she's gone because she's the hot one. And not that Billie Kay is not sexy, but, you know, that somebody wants to bang Peyton Royce. And then fucking once they're apart, we're going to see how they fucking do on their own. And then it's only a matter of time. I don't know why they keep hiring girls like this that have money written on them only to get them right there to where they're getting over to break them up and fuck with them, bro. This is WWE's sick pattern of repeating that. How many fucking times we've seen it, men and women. But both of them are oblivious as to what's really going on with them. And then the other part is fucking Peyton Royce cuts a big promo online because somebody catcalled her in Florida, some older guy that she was sexy or whatever, you know, some asshole doing whatever he does. And treat me like a woman and treat me with respect and da-da-da. This week, 16 fucking bikini posts showing ass, showing fucking cry. But like, no, that's me and my body and my sexuality. Don't you even think about masturbating to me and fucking think of me in a sexual way. So let's put a whole woman. Yeah.
And then she gets mad because some guy on Twitter who's sitting in the audience in AEW who does not want to probably go up to Peyton Royce because he doesn't want to be mocked, takes a picture like, oh, look who's sitting behind me. And then Raj Giri from Wrestling Inc. puts it up, and then she types, you could have asked me for a picture. Why do I want to ask you for a picture? I'm afraid
you're going to flame me, right?
Yeah.
So, y'all, man, Dogs of War are whining at me hard right now. Anything else major to fucking do before they got to go out and do a perimeter check here?
Not really. I mean, the only other ones, I had a couple of stories here about WWE cutting one of their respected employees, one of the video editors that they just cut. So he is, I guess, been with the company for a number of years. He started with Joey Janela's Game Changer Wrestling. In fact, I'm sure you guys have seen that new WWE documentary coming out, Superfan. He was the guy who edited and put it all together. In fact, a lot of people within the company, he's been with them since 2018. His name is Giancarlo Diatamo. Hopefully I pronounced that.
Yeah, I've heard of his name before. Yeah, he's been around for a minute.
Diatamo, I'm sorry. So he produced WWE Ringside Charlie Adarno, the upcoming Superman story, the story of Vladimir. Apparently, everyone on, as far as at WWE, some of the production people have been just shocked. Quote, some of the people have said, this guy's a genius by one WWE staffer.
Yeah, I've heard good things about him. I don't know, rubbed somebody the wrong way, tried to make a move and got his throat cut, overdone. I'm not sure, man.
He's been cutting a lot of production people this last week. Like, it's like they're like, and that's a hint. Like, this isn't just a little bit. Like, this is like 15 people that they've like got rid of.
35.
Yeah, it sounds like we're moving to NBC.
Yeah, I think so too. Consolidate and fucking moving it in there. I agree with that as well. That's what the stooge off is here. But y'all, man, I'm sure the guy will fucking land on his feet because he's got skills. You know, that's something they can't take from him artistically. He can apply that to other people's shit and do great things. So I don't think he's worse for the wear compared to some other people who lost 6-figure salaries who are like, what do I do now? Right. So we'll see which way it goes. Maddie, do the plugs and take us home. I got to let this guy out. He's fucking going crazy, man.
All right. Well, each and every week, myself and Ben Hamin and Chris Silvio review AEW Dynamite called Light the Fuse. You can check it out every Thursday morning, generally speaking. Right now, we're going to be recording on Saturday the next morning or Sunday next weekend due to the fact that Dynamite is on Friday because of the playoffs. However, you can also check out patreon.com/Hamin Media Group for all the latest and greatest content from the Monday Locker Room, which I've been proud to be on for the first time today, as well as the Wednesday Locker Room with Andrew Bello, Steve King, and Billy Ray Valentine. We've got the Impact Attack with Colin Wysong and the Vet. We've got the Next Level Review with Big Ray Hernandez and Ben Hamin, as well as a plethora of other review shows such as the Smack Attack with Money McIver and John Enright. We've got RTW Rewind on Sundays. He just did a show with Rick Vickery where they talk about food. So if you missed your Rick Vickery fix and your food fix, you can download that right now on our affiliate channel, HaminMediaGroup.podbean.com. Also, check out the plethora of all of our companies, talents that we manage from patreon.com/thebeautifulpeople /Big Vito Brand /Larry Hankin /Stevie Ray TV /The A Show /Goldilocks, and many more to come, as well as russobrand.com, I apologize. For each and every week, you can hear Stevie Richards and Ben Hamin talk about the Raw and SmackDown review, as well as sign up on patreon.com/RussoTWC, where you can hear Master Shoot Theater.
Yeah. Now, hit you and quit you. Get on out of here.
And you can sign up there. And of course, each and every week, I am privileged to host a South Park podcast called Suck My Balls, a South Park Review. You can check out all of our episodes up there right now. 76 total recordings as we continue there. So, and you can check out my sponsor, BakeBoysClub.com. Use the code Suck My Balls Pod, and you'll save 15% off your order. So we'll check out the remaining sponsors. We've got the Broasters Coffee by going to Coffee Broasters on Twitter. Check them out, or go to broasters.com. Order yourself a bag of Russo Bro coffee, and you can use the code 5LB, and you'll save yourself $10 off your order. ZordosOliveOil.com for the finest Greek artisan olive oil. ProWrestlingTees.com, Ben Hamin, SEG shirts, Superstar Chris Silvio, Greek God Papadon, BWOC, RTW Rewind. Mr. Rad Rob's got a t-shirt store up there as well, so support them all, as well as anything else. I think that's it. I think I promoted. I got everything.
Awesome, man. You're the best. ProWrestlingTees.com/ all of our stores. Save 20% today. You guys have been really helpful with that since we've been demonetized still on YouTube and trying to get twitch.tv/Hamin Media for the SmackDown Live self-help group watch-alongs. Getting that redone, but it's austerity budget because of it. So we appreciate everybody supporting our sponsors or our t-shirt stores or whatever going on with patreon.com/Hamin Media Group. A lot of great things coming, obviously, on Realm Brand. So it's just a lot of work to undertake so we can get it. So we're giving you guys the product you deserve and getting the workflow process down, man. But it was a long night last night. Hopefully they learned something about indie booking, that you do not want to book a 4.5 hour show because there's matches that'll suffer instead of shaving some time off or cutting a match here or there and what you need to do, man. So, but everybody worked their asses off. There were some definite highlights, but we missed a couple things that we could punch up as always. Hopefully we get Silvio back with us on Light the Fuse next week, even though it's another late night Friday night show. So that'll be great getting to sit through SmackDown and that. Some more torture for myself. I really enjoy it. But hanging with the HMG faithful here at twitch.tv/Hamin Media, Ben Hamin YouTube channel, make it a lot easier, you guys. But hopefully everybody enjoys their Memorial Day this Monday off, if you've got it off, and take some time to remember those we've lost, and thankful for our country being what it used to be. Hopefully we can get back to that. But I always like to take a minute.
America? Huh? Isn't this America? I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
That's what I'm saying, man. Some days you wonder if it is, but we can always remember those in our family and friends that we lost, and the wrestling buddies we used to travel with down the road or spent some time with watching pay-per-views, man. It's not just for some patriotism. I like to take a moment and remember all my brothers and sisters, man, that aren't here, that I had good times with. So hopefully you do the same and eat some RBV fitness so you can do some Stevie Ray fitness and get back on track with us for the summer, you guys. It's MSG, it's Hacker Hamin, it's the Monday Locker Room. YOLO.